Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Live to Roll show. I'm your host for the day, Brianna Wheeler, and we're back with another women's disability show.
Woo!
We're going to be talking about just adjusting to life after an injury, kind of how we felt different inside of public and where we felt different, kind of learning how to take up space for ourselves and advocate for ourselves and adjusting to people staring and things like that. So make sure you stay tuned. Join us in the chat. We'll be going throughout the live. Even if we move on, feel free to drop your questions or any advice or anything that you have to contribute to the conversation in the chat, and we'll go back and read it. No worries. We're going to start with introductions. Let's start with Jessica.
Hi, everyone. My name's Jessica Brito. I'm a C7 incomplete. I've been injured 14 years, and I live in Southern California.
Thank you. Let's go to Ashley.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ashley. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and I'm a C4 quadriplegic.
And Nikki.
I'm Nikki. I'm a T6 paraplegic from Chicago, and I'm Ashley's twin. Period.
Yes, we're missing Maya today, but she just gave birth, so everybody send your prayers and loves to her. And I'm Brianna. I was shot 9 years ago. I am a T12 paraplegic, and I live in Los Angeles, California. Hello, everyone. Hello, Nicole and Leah. Thank you so much for holding down the chat. We appreciate it. Okay, so we're going to start with what outings made you feel different when you got injured, why they made you feel different, and how did you kind of mentally handle that the beginning and now, because I'm sure it's different. So let's start with Jessica. I know you got injured a while ago, do you remember like feeling different when you first started going out of the hospital?
Yeah, I think I noticed it the most. I'll say around my community, like whenever I was in an area that was highly Latinos, first gen. There's the city where I grew up. It's like mostly Hispanic or Latinos, and I think that our community still has not a stigma, but a lot of curiosity around people in wheelchairs. And so I noticed I felt uncomfortable because I had more stairs there than in other places.
Mm-hmm. And how did you handle that mentally in the beginning?
I had to remind myself that as much as, it felt uncomfortable, that before my injury, I couldn't say I knew people in wheelchairs or saw them often in the community. So I understood it was more of a curiosity thing than anything. And I just had to remind myself of that. Um, and I got more comfortable with time because I guess after a while I just didn't notice it as much. I know it's still happening. My family and friends sometimes get bothered by it, but I'm in my own world and I kind of just ignore or don't notice it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. I totally agree. Sometimes my family will tell me stuff, and I'm just like, I did not even see what you're seeing. We just got to keep on going. Yeah. So funny. My live is doing that weird thing where I don't see all the comments. I saw Ben's comment pop up, so I just want to shout you out, Ben. Thank you for joining us. Love you guys so much. If you guys see any comments too that I don't see, make sure that you guys say it, girls, if you see it pop up. I don't know why I can only see some of them. Does his comment pop up for you guys?
No,
I can
I'm
only see two. I only see Nicole
and Leah.
Yeah.
Mrs. Leah.
That's so interesting. Okay. Nikki, so what outings made you feel different when you first got injured?
For me, it was definitely like family outings and probably just like, I don't know, probably everything. That's what I was probably all the outings at first. Funny.
How did you handle
even
it?
Being at home felt weird. You're funny.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. How did you handle it?
How
I handled it?
Out?
Honestly, I like would fake it till I made it, but I would get like a lot of anxiety when I would go out and about. like, and I had never really experienced anxiety before, so like I would get this experience like heavy anxiety. I didn't like to be around crowds either, because we went, one of the first things, we went to the Vegan Fest here in Chicago, and that was so crowded, and I just remember feeling so overwhelmed. Like I was like, oh my gosh, like I need to get out of this space, like it's just too much right now, because there was a lot of people there. It was in downtown Chicago, so you can just imagine it was just too much, and I was just like, this is a lot. Like I felt like everyone was staring, even though I know like now that they probably weren't, but just like that feeling was just like just too much. But I just would fake it till I make it. And also like having my twin sister, like she would just always be like my person that I would tell her like I'm experiencing like a lot of anxiety right now, and she'd be like, just breathe, or like she'd tell me stuff, because she's definitely more able to control those things than I am, and she had like the tools because she had experienced it before, but I was like, it was new to me. So yeah.
What do you mean that you experienced anxiety before is what you mean? She's experiencing anxiety.
Well, she Ashley did. So she would like help me with like how I was feeling, because I had never really felt like that before. I wouldn't say that I had ever felt like anxiety like that before. So I was like, this is like, it was like overwhelming. Like it was just too much sometimes.
Yeah. So Ashley, is it that you were not feeling overwhelmed in those situations, or like she said, you just have the tools to kind of calm yourself down? Did you ever feel like that feeling of feeling indifferent, that anxiety of being out around people in the beginning?
Oh yes, I definitely did. Just like Nikki said, and like Jessica, I felt it like in many environments that I would go out and about. But having been an anxious girly most of my life, I knew kind of, I guess, how to mask it, honestly. So I kind of knew what to do to be like, you know what, we're good. Like, it's okay. I still felt the feelings, but I'm like, you know what, we're good. Like, it's not as scary as you're making it out to be in your head.
Do you feel like you pushed more to be out and about? Like, was it something that you craved to like try to force yourself to be out and about, and not let like the injury take that away from you?
I would say yeah, right? Because we went out pretty quickly on after our injury. But it's because, honestly, that part was probably more her, because Nikki's not a homebody. I am. So she wanted to be out and about, and it was kind of like, okay, if we're going to be out and about, we have to fake it till we make it, sis. Okay, we have to fake it till we make it. And then one thing I used to tell myself, well, honestly, what? I would see people like being weird, or like, you know, people get weird around their disability. There's no denying that. Some people get really uncomfortable, and you could tell they like their faces,
especially with you being
especially with me being in a power chair. Like they act like, I don't know, people don't know how to interact with me. I'd be like, are you okay? And I used to creep people out back. I'm not gonna lie, I was that person. I would be like, I would see them staring or something. I love you. Like, just like, you're gonna make me uncomfortable, I'm gonna make you uncomfortable, because two could play that game, okay?
I love that.
Yeah.
And then I also would be like, they're staring, I'd be like, thanks for thinking I'm cute. Thanks for thinking I'm cute.
Yeah, it is a mindset game. I definitely agree. I feel like in the beginning it was very hard for me. I think like little things, like Nikki said, like kind of everywhere I felt overwhelmed, but the store especially made me feel overwhelmed. I don't know why I felt like people felt more entitled to like stop me and ask me questions in the store for some reason. And that happened to me a lot. I got preyed on like within the first like couple months in the store as well. And that was very overwhelming for me. That was the first time I kind of like realized in my head that people looked at me a certain differently, like, and that their whole mindsets about me changed. And I didn't know how to feel about that. It made me really overwhelmed, and I kind of retreated a lot. I also was hanging out with a lot of my able-bodied friends at the time, and of course the people I was friends with before my injury, and I think that was very hard for me too. I wanted so badly to be that same carefree, adventurous person, but I wasn't there yet. I was so newly injured, and I, like you said, I had so much anxiety and very overwhelmed by it all, and I would have to talk myself out of anxiety attacks often, but I was also really good at masking it. So I feel like I would kind of force myself to stay in the situation and try to talk myself down. But a lot of times it was very overwhelming for me. The littlest things, I feel like, especially around religious people, I feel like I feel a bit overwhelmed as well. and like parties, of course, and family get-togethers was really overwhelming for me. Like you said, I even felt weird when I was at home, you know.
I feel that. Brianna, the chat is going wild. They're having
Yeah,
conversations.
the chat is
I won't
like,
read everything because
I
it
am.
just popped up for me, like 10
yeah.
comments at once.
But
But people are having conversations about how they feel, and you're still a powerhouse. Don't forget that. You're still powerful in a wheelchair. People are talking about that, having conversation. And then people are saying, I smoke 2 joints. Yeah, people say people
Well,
must be
smoke 2
educated on
joints, then I smoke 2
disabilities.
more. Okay, Ben, tell me where you got this, because me and Tom literally had a whole disagreement about who sings this song, and I'm sure you'll say something different, but there's been a couple of remixes of this I Smoke 2 Joints song, and it's so funny. We both thought of different artists, and we were both wrong about who originally sang it. No Googling.
Yeah, the chat literally, I guess this one really resonates with people, guys.
Someone loves your
love it.
t-shirt. Yeah, Brianna, someone loves your t-shirt too.
I got it from Maya, actually. It says, I'm literally just a girl. I was like, cute. And then I tied it up because, I just let it up a little bit. And it's super cute. It's my first time wearing it. Okay, so let's see what our next question is going to be. Do you feel like you are treated differently in society because you are in a wheelchair?
Yeah.
Have you been looked down upon at any point or doubted? And how do you advocate in these situations? So it's kind of a double whammy. So, Ashley, do you feel like you're being treated differently in society because you're in a chair?
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. People treat me like I'm dumb all the time.
Talked down upon, or you feel like they're not understanding that you're a person?
People treat me like I'm dumb all the time. All the time. And it makes me really upset. I'm like, I'm not. I'm just disabled. I'm not dumb. What's another one? People treat me, like, for instance, like when me and Nikki are out and about, because we go out, like, just me and her a lot, they'll talk to just her. Or, like, they'll talk to her in the back. And then what does she want? I'm like, she wants, like, she can speak.
I stand
I'm getting so irritated.
How long after you were injured did you realize, like, that you needed to insert yourself?
Pretty quickly on. And some people, I will say, like, some spaces I go to, like my farmer's market, they treat me so respectful. Some of my favorite restaurants, they treat me so respectful. They even wash my fork. Thank you. Like, some places that I frequent, you can tell those are the places that usually treat me respectful, and I'm going to go back because I don't constantly have to, like, fight when I'm out and about. When I'm out and about, I want to enjoy my time. I don't want to be fighting with people or having to insert myself, like, quite sternly to, like, let them know, like, I'm still a little human, okay? And I know it's because not only am I in a power chair, but I also look really young. So people, like, just treat me really differently because right away they're like, oh, there's this teenager in the power chair. She has to be a dum-dum. And I'm like 30 years old. Like, come on. You're like an adult. We've got until where's your parents? Yeah, we're 30 years old, bro. Where are your parents?
Dude, that's so funny. One time I took Cage to the emergency room and they were like, who is the adult and are you the guardian? And they thought that Cage was taking me, and I was like, no, he's a minor. Can you freaking check us in? Thanks. So funny. I told you. And so do you feel like, Nikki, there's a difference of when you're with Ashley and when you're not, of how people respond and treat you?
Definitely. Like, I notice when I'm with Ashley, they'll treat me like I'm the, like, I guess, like, the adult or more coherent one. Because definitely I see that people treat Ashley kind of like she's more like, what's the word? I don't want to use the wrong word. But, like, intellectual disabled. Like, just because, just because she's in a power chair. And they'll, like, ask me the questions. They'll ask, like, they'll give me the check. And I'm like, this time she paying. Like, and then, like, it's funny because, like, we're twins, and I know sometimes we can look different just by the way we dress, the way we style our hair. But, like, I'm like, and for me, I don't treat Ashley any different, obviously, because that's my twin sister. Like, I'm gonna fight with her. I'm gonna give her the check. I'm gonna let her order her own food. Like, I'm not gonna baby my twin sister. That's just weird. But you can. But when I'm by myself,
like every once in a while.
Ashley's like, you can do it sometime. You're dumb. But
sorry, I took you off track.
but definitely like when I'm trying to think when I'm by myself, I definitely see how some people treat me different, but not really like so much. Just like more, honestly, it's like more in personal spaces. Like I feel like more around like
like for instance, I have a story.
Like, well, let me finish.
Yeah, you
more
finish.
like family members and stuff like that, because I feel like I don't know. It's just like you notice how they treat you different, even like in spaces that I used to go. Like if I see someone from my past, they'll treat me more different than like a random person I feel like on the street. Because like when I go shopping on my own or run errands by myself, or when I've gone to like brunch by myself, because I'll do things by myself. Like Ashley said, I like to go out and about. And I'm like, people don't really treat me different. I don't know if it's because I'm by myself and I'm kind of just like, this is what I want. And I like act confident. Like I said, I be faking it till I make it. Because some days I don't feel like that at all. Some days I feel defeated and I feel annoyed. But like, I know how to do a lot. Like I know how to open the door for myself and things like that. And I notice if I treat people with kindness, they'll treat me back with kindness. Even if they're kind of starting off or they feel a little hesitant or treating me different, I'll just be like, hi, or like smiley about it. And then it seems like their demeanor changes about it.
Mm-hmm. I 1,000% agree. What was your story, Ashley?
What was your story?
Like our story from like literally like 2 hours ago when we were at the store. And that person was all up in my personal space. And then Nikki's like, oh, you should probably say excuse me before you back up. I'm like, no, because I can't see her. She should have just been backed up from the get-go. So I just backed up because I had to move to back up so then I could go about my business. I didn't hit her, thankfully, because I don't know how her reaction would have been. But I was ready. Because I'm like, to me, that's just a respect thing. One, it's also, I feel like people forget the COVID rules. Still stay 6 feet, okay? Still stay 6 feet. I need my personal space. And you also don't, I can't see you. I'm not, my neck is broken too. I can't be turning like this all the time and see behind me. So I was just kind of like, I get so irritated. But then I also feel like when we go out and about, people treat me more dumb when we're together versus when I'm by myself. It's like automatically when I'm by myself, people assume that, oh, she must not be a dodo brain if she's by herself.
Not a dodo brain.
Isn't that the dumb bird?
Nikki's not trying to be correct about the wording earlier.
Okay, if I get
I know, and Ashley just says dodo brain.
If I get canceled.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I think that a lot of times the offense comes off of people because they panic a little bit. So that's where I give them a little bit of grace and I try to like change their attitude by the way that I'm acting. Or like you said, smiling at them, talking to them, showing them in real time like that I am capable of conversation. And I feel like that changes sometimes, but I think in the beginning they're like panicking. Sometimes they're like, do I say something? Do I not? Do I help? Do I not? Oh, are am I amazed or am I shocked or do I need help? Like they're constantly like battling in their own head as well. And it's ignorance, kind of like what Jessica said too, like when you don't know, you don't know. And it sometimes I feel like because we're so surrounded by the community that we can feel like it's just common sense. In reality, it's really not. So a lot of times I do try to lead with kindness. Some days I'm not in the mood and I'm a little bit more bitchier than others, but that's okay. I feel like that's what
was me today.
did.
Ben said, just car crush them, Ashley.
I'd be ready.
Yeah.
I'd be ready.
And I see Leon said the power wheelchair does throw people off. Yeah, for sure. I've heard that as well.
Me too. People get so scared. It's kind of funny though. I'd be laughing, and they probably don't know why I'm laughing.
Definitely have looked down upon because the power wheelchair. Treat me like a person who wants to get to know you. Yes. Sometimes it seems like very common sense, and I think sometimes it can, rightfully so, it can affect us when we're realizing that that's their first response. But we need to know, like, if we have the patience and like we feel like correcting them, I feel like that's the way the best to go about it, because we need to teach them. They're kind of like children that have never been taught, so we have to imagine them like giant children, and we kind of have to treat them that way, you know, reverse it, like they're treating us like the child. It's like, actually, you're the child, let me inform you of some things and go about my business. And that could come in different ways, right? It could come as just like a conversations or actually like informing them, you know. Or sometimes I like to talk about like somebody else, like for instance, people like to treat me like I'm dumb, but obviously I'm capable of a conversation. And then it kind of alerts them like, okay, was I doing that? You know, I use that tactic a lot.
I'm going to use that, Brianna. I'm going to use that.
I do it even to my family. I'll be like, I'll say something about another one, like they're acting like this, you know, or they did this, and then it kind of just alerts them, like, oh wait, have I been doing that? Have I been acting like that? And I also like want to say, like, I have a lot of different age family members, and even with them knowing me and knowing the disability community, they still fall short and treat me ways that I would prefer that they didn't, or, you know, not realize my capabilities, or doubt me in different ways. And I also have the opposite effect of them putting too much faith in me, you know, and them thinking I can do absolutely fucking everything. Okay, sorry, went on this. Don't ask my husband, ask me. I have a mouth, even though I've had to be kind of rude to people. Yeah, I felt like sometimes you just have to assert yourself, you know, and that's that advocacy that we're talking about. I feel like I just missed one. Oh, Ben, I don't worry about what people think. I'm too busy doing me. I feel you, Ben. Have you always been that way, or are you that way now? Because that's what we're kind of comparing to. I think, like, over the years, you kind of get that mentality. But we're also hard to put yourself in those beginning shoes of how you felt when you first started going out and how you got to that point of not caring what anybody thinks, you know? Okay. Oh shit, my photo closed. 1 second.
She keeps coming. It's her anniversary today.
Sorry, I lost my things. So Jessica, do you feel like you're differently inside of a wheelchair?
So I guess I've had those experiences, but I think I also have the opposite where I get a lot of perks being in a wheelchair. And before my accident, I was already a really bossy person. And so in a wheelchair, sometimes it depends on my mood, but if I'm just like, I will take advantage of it sometimes just because I'm just like, ugh, like, you know, do this, do that, do this, do that type of person. So, like, I honestly feel like sometimes I know people are giving me more just because I'm in a wheelchair. And I'm like, well, if that's how you're going to treat me, I'm going to take it. So I know I've had opportunities and certain things happen to me because of the wheelchair. Like, it opened ways for me. But I feel like even before my accident, sometimes I felt like, you know, like sometimes being pretty gets you farther in life. And I'm just like, I'm going to take it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I've had both. And I think I get a lot of, because I have a lot of spasms. So if people see me like almost falling out of my chair while I'm rolling and they're like, oh, I think a lot of it is also like, they don't realize they're kind of treating me like less than I think sometimes because they think they're just being compassionate.
Yeah.
Right. So like I think it's two things. I think sometimes I am treated like, oh, she needs more help or she needs this or she needs that. And then sometimes I mean I use it to my advantage and just I think it also has given me opportunities. I think sometimes people treat me different because of that too.
I feel you.
So I guess, you know what I mean? Like, I'll take the parking and I'll take the front of the line and, right? Like, at the end of the
definitely.
day, like, and I've thought to myself, like, I had a really hard morning. Why not get the front of the line? My life is harder than yours, so I'm going to take it, you know?
Yeah.
So I think.
Yeah, and there's some, like, even moments where I feel like opening the door for myself, and there's some moments where I'll let somebody else open the door for me, you know, if I'm not feeling it that day. And I think it's definitely just each situation. I think the most important thing is that you take a deep breath. If anything, my chair has definitely tested my patience and like taught me how to be patient. So what I realize is like sometimes we might be reacting in one way. For instance, we might be reacting angrily, like, you know, treat me the way that everybody's treated when they're coming out of compassion and they're not really meaning it offensively. And then there's sometimes where people are meaning it offensively, you know, and they're just kind of jerks and and they're kind of reacting that way. And killing them with kindness is a great way for me to like handle the situation because I love seeing people's like whole personality genuinely like change and their opinion like change in real life. But like I said, every day is different. I think that's okay.
Well, I think I have been told, like, I wear my emotions on my face. So if I'm in a bad mood, I think people, and it's funny because before my accident, I was told I was stuck up and had a resting bitch face. And I thought it had changed being in the chair. But I've met people that tell me, like, I saw you and I was scared. Like,
Yeah.
you look mean. And I'm just
Uh-huh.
in my own world, right? And so, but I think there's certain things that it's like, I get that they don't know how to treat us. You know the
Mhm.
sticker, the wheel bad bitch coming through?
Yeah.
When I had it on the back of my chair, people told me that seeing that made them feel more comfortable talking to me. They're
I've been
like,
told the same.
mm-hmm.
And that's like where like the whole like beauty of it is like representing like stuff that fits the disabled community. I mean, I share it at expos and when I'm talking to people too, it kind of just automatically changes people's perceptions of like how we are and what we need. And it's a really like silent check, and a lot of people, they get joy out of it, you know,
Yeah,
and that's
it's
what
like a
I've
good
seen.
it's a good icebreaker, I feel. Like I think it
For sure.
humanizes us because and I think like you said, like sometimes when people are being rude or they're just ignorant, like it really depends on our mood whether we want to educate or not, right? But we can't also say like people should be educated and then not be willing to educate because then that
Yes,
kind of doesn't
yes.
make sense, right?
I agree so much. I think sometimes it's like we also want to be like humanized and be like, we shouldn't have to tell you, you know, I'm in a bad mood, I'm in a wheelchair, I shouldn't have to explain shit to you. Which is like, okay, if you want to feel that way, it's totally valid, you know, but at the
Yeah,
same time, how are we changing society's perception of us if we're not teaching them? And that's why I like to use the example of the kids, because oftentimes those same people that treat adults that way will be kind to kids. I've
yeah,
met countless people that are like, educate the kids, love the kids, but it's like you gotta do it kind of all the way around, you know.
yeah. And I mean, again, not wanting to educate at all times, but let's all just be mindful that we make the next wheelchair person's life a little easier.
Yes, I 1,000% agree. Okay, let's see what we say this in here. I'm an extrovert. My husband is an introvert. He usually says she is the conversationalist, not me. It's so funny. Me and my boyfriend are the same exact way. They often go to him for the conversation, and he'll just straight look at me, and he'll not say not one word, and it's the funniest thing. But that's what also like makes us so great, and I think it's like a perfect storm. Like it's, I think it's like how more can you say it's meant to be, you know? That we help each other in ways, and that he's also giving me opportunity to speak up. Shall I say reverse psychology? Yes, we gotta hit him with it sometimes. I've always been a bossy person in my life, just like you said, Jessica. I feel like honestly my boss went down after my injury. It's so weird. And people who know me before tell me like all the time, I used to be a lot more like rah 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 and like a bossy and rusty bitch face. And then somewhere along the way, like after my injury, I just felt so knocked down. And it helped me pick myself back up in a different way. I feel like because I'm more joyful, I'm a more friendly person, and people kind of just feel like that's how I've always been. In reality, I've had to work really hard to get to this point where I'm able to have like conversations and I'm able to make friends like more easily and stuff like that. And I love it. I honestly wouldn't take it back for anything. If y'all ever go on a cruise, take advantage of being in a wheelchair. They bring you to the front of the line. Ooh, I didn't know that. My moms have been
There
trying
we
to get
go,
me on.
guys. We gotta find the perks.
Yeah, and have you been on a cruise, Jessica?
No, that's one I still have to do.
I'm terrified. I'm like, I don't know. I want to, but the fact of just being out in the middle of the ocean is not my favorite idea. Um, Love that sticker. Oh, the Will Bad Bitch sticker. Yes. I think most people want to help and learn, but some people are just assholes. Yeah, that's what I mean, kill them with kindness. Sometimes like it's hard for people to stay on that asshole-ish when you're just like, oh wow, I like your shirt. How's your day going? My day's going like this, and you just kind of like jump into it. And that's what I mean by like kind of watching people's attitude change. Okay, let's go to the next question. Do you notice being looked at in public? So I'm sure this has changed for us. We kind of touched on it a bit, but what negative thoughts kind of come up for you? And then how do you kind of battle that out with the reality of your situation? So let's go to Nikki. How did being stared at in the beginning affect you?
It used to be annoying. I used to feel like everyone was staring at me. And again, I think it contributed to my anxiety. But then I had a therapist, not like one of my physical therapists, tell me like, you'd be surprised how many people stare at you and then they forget about you 2 seconds later. And I don't know, that really helped me because I was like, she's kind of right. Like, I used to do that. I'm a starer. I still am a starer. Ashley all the time has to tell me stop staring. So like, then I'm like, you're right, because like, I'd be forgetting the people I'm staring at. Like I'd be staring. Ashley's always like, you're doing it, and I'm like, what? She's like, you're staring at them, because I'll be.
This
But one of my favorite things to do too. I know I be staring at
my family all the time, especially because we be like in downtown LA, which is like a more sketchier part, and I just feel like I need to be also like aware of my surroundings. So sometimes I'll be staring like for too long, and they'll be like, girl, do not be staring."
Like snap out of it, and you're like.
Yeah. And also something else that I notice is like when I'm in the car and I see another wheelchair user, I'll be staring at them. And it's like
they don't know
that I'm in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah. That's happened to me too.
Yeah, that I have to like almost stop myself when I make eye contact with them. I'm like, oh shit, they probably think I'm judging them, you know? So funny.
You're all starers. I'm gonna be calling all of you out. I'd be minding my business.
Yeah, you don't stare at people, Ashley.
She doesn't. She actually don't notice enough to me. I'd be like, girl, can you like pay attention? She'd be, oh. That's how she is.
I'm having this whole flashback of Nikki stopping at all the booths and Ashley being like, let's go, girl, let's go. And like zooming past everybody. I'll be like, oh, wait, I'm trying to go outside.
That is us to a T. She's like, oh, come on. And then I'm like, Nikki's boom.
So funny. Boom. So boom. Ashley, on the other side of that, did you notice people staring at you in the beginning?
Yeah, I did. No, I did. But maybe not as much as Nikki.
What thoughts that came up to you? Like, why did you feel like they were staring in the beginning?
Because you're cute.
I know it was Delulu a little, but now I really believe it. So the delusion became reality. But I used to be like, it's because I'm cute.
That's what I say.
And I am cute, so I know it's not a lie. Like, I'm cute.
It's true.
And I honestly, you guys, I know I have a very interesting style. I be in my Snuggie with my bucket hats. I be weird, okay? So I know I'm giving people a reason to stare.
Sometimes you don't match.
Sometimes I don't match. So I be like, I'm cute, but I'm also like giving them something to stare at. I'm in my Barbie Snuggie. That one really gets people staring. But it's because I'm cute.
Yeah.
It's a mindset game. I agree. I definitely feel like it's a mindset because in the beginning, so many things like flash through your head. But then slowly when you realize it, when you replace it, it becomes almost habit that your brain just thinks about that. And just like them staring at you, they're out of your mind in 2 seconds. Like it's on to the next thing. You're kind of focused, tunnel vision.
Do you guys ever pose when people are staring at you?
I smile. I smile all the time. Like I think the same thing. It's because I'm cute, so I always smile. Like I'm always like, hey, you know. Yeah.
I smile as well, but I feel like it's just a response, like a default response. You talked about, Jessica, like that your family and friends like notice it before you do. Has it always been like that?
Always. But I have ADHD, so I'm distracted. Like I don't live in the world the way people live in the world sometimes. And I think Ashley's right, because so before my accident, I'm really pretty, but I'm like 5'9". Mm-hmm. So I've always been stared at. Right? And so like people stare at me when I used to walk from head to toe, I think I'm more approachable now because, especially like if I wore heels, like I wore a short skirt, I was always stared at. So to me, even getting injured, and I've mentored girls that I meet that are newly injured, and I look at them and I'm like, you're really pretty. You're gonna get stared at a lot. Like it's a reality. Like, yeah, Ashley, you're the cutest. It's like, And I think that like I agree with
the attractive people are in the community actually.
Yeah, so I agree with Nikki too that I've always gotten in trouble for staring. Like my mom's like, the fact that no one's ever swung at you, I'm amazed. Like, because I can't like I'm
Man,
so
Jessica,
bad.
when I was in 7th grade, my teacher got me in trouble for staring.
Yeah, dude, like and the thing is I don't even just look at you, dude. I do the head to toe look. I'll be like,
Me too.
and my mom's like, what? What's wrong with my outfit? What's wrong? What am I doing wrong? Like, because I can't help it. Like, I stare, but in a way that's just like rude as hell, dude. And it's funny because I think that, like, okay, like, as I've got, I can't see. Are you guys good?
We're fighting over here.
She was making fun of me, so I pushed her a little too hard.
Oh my goodness, Nikki.
No, but you know what, dude? Like, I'm so bad. Like, it's never bothered me to be stared at. The only time it makes me uncomfortable is when I'm getting in my car because I feel like pressured to go faster. I think one time Erica said that, and I was like, oh, so true. But I hate not wearing my glasses because I can't see when people are staring at me, and I like to know who's looking at me, and I want to look at them. But it's just because I'm nosy, not because it bothers me that they're looking at me. Like when I go to the gym, because I go to able-bodied gyms, and I'm like, well, I want to see if they're cute, right? But I can't see because I don't have my glasses on. But yeah, the only time I feel uncomfortable is when I'm getting in my car because it feels like they're timing you. Like, how fast can she do this, right? But other than that, it's never bothered me because, like, I really, like Ashley said, I really think it's because I'm pretty.
Yeah, it's definitely a mindset thing, and I think like that is one of the reasons. I think sometimes they're shocked by different factors, right? But I realize that when I don't tunnel in on it, it really doesn't affect me. And there's probably times 3 more people that are staring at me that I'm not seeing. So why is the one that I'm catching eyes with like affecting me so much, I don't know. And I think like I also have been approached where they have like a newly injured person that they know, and they're just like, wow, like, can you talk to this person? And I've been approached that way, which is like, that's another beautiful thing, and yeah, I think I do feel rushed now that you say that. Like when I'm getting out of the car, I'm not a fan of like getting out of the car in front of like people's houses, like when they're all watching me and like everybody's just like gathered around the car waiting for me to get out. Not a fan. But again, I think that just goes to my mindset because I'm like, hurry up, what do I need to do? Let's not look stupid. Let's not fall down right now. Everybody's staring at you, Brianna, and I'm like trying to get all my stuff together and everything. So I feel maybe a little bit rushed. So, I mean, I think it does go back to the mindset thing.
You guys, Ben says you have WrestleMania going on.
Huh?
Ben says WrestleMania over there with Ashley and Nikki fighting.
No, seriously, she's about to get bopped.
So funny. Okay. So do you feel safe when you're in public alone? And what emotions or thoughts come up for you in these situations? Do you take any precautions? So I mean, has it differed for you guys? Ashley, was it different in the beginning? Have you ever felt unsafe when you're out rolling around?
Yeah, I never feel safe. I know now, and as being a woman in a wheelchair, I'm more prone to like being vulnerable to all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And when me and Nick are out in the world together, I know we're even more vulnerable because we move even slower when we're together. And
she always be freaking me out too.
I'd
like
be scared.
When we go in the car, she's like, close the door. I'm like, girl, you gotta get inside.
Close the door, lock the door. Come on, let's hurry it up. Go, 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 go. I'd be like, we're like in a marathon at that moment. Come on, go, 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 go. I'd be ready.
Yeah. Do you like carry any pepper spray or anything like on you guys?
Well, that's the thing. See, as a quad, I know by the time I even get to use the pepper spray, that person's gonna grab it out my hand
And use it on you.
and use it on me. So
Yeah.
all I ever say is, if it happens, I'm just gonna
Putting God's
act. No, I pray, and I'm gonna also. They always say if you act like you're happy that someone's doing something to you, they'll leave you alone. So I'm just gonna be, oh my gosh, yes, stab me with the knife, yes, stab me with the knife. I'd be ready for the acting,
Oh,
Look at Ashley.
tell me why kids just asked me like last week, do you have a knife or anything to protect yourself? And I was like, honestly, by the time I grab the knife out of my bag, I feel like I'm already gonna be in an unsafe situation. Like it did dawn on me like I should have like something more accessible or like on me, but it's like I'm not trying to stab myself either. Like I'd be forgetting. Like I'll probably forget where that knife is at. And it makes me like a little bit more nervous for sure. And I think, I mean, nothing has ever happened, but it doesn't stop the anxiety, I think, from like
we had
spiraling.
someone following us once, I swear.
Oh, wow. Did you? How did you guys handle
we were
it?
both, in that moment, we weren't close to anywhere we could go inside a building or nothing. I'm like, Nikki, if this is it, I love you.
Well, I always tell Ashley, let them take me, and she keeps going since she's in a
But I wouldn't
chair.
do that. I wouldn't do that.
But I just
I'd be like, yeah, take my sister. Take her, yes. I'm like, act happy.
Stop. You start telling them facts about you guys, about yourself? Like,
we have code names. I can't say it on the internet, but you know it, Brianna. We have code names.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not Ashley in public.
He said I can't say it on the camera.
I'll let you guys know off camera.
Jessica, so have you ever had an encounter where you felt unsafe, or how do you handle that?
So I am the reckless one of the group. I never really care. I've been in very sketchy situations. I've been in a miniskirt in downtown LA at 1 a.m, right? I'm just that type of person. I'm not easily fearful. I'm not easily cautious. I think my brother has always been really scared something will happen to me. And he's like, you need to at least carry mace. And I was like, bro, I'm going to spray myself. How the hell is a quad going to spray mace? I'm going to be like, I can't even
there's bloody people that spray that shit back in their face. Like
that would be me because I've sprayed myself accidentally with hairspray, with cooking spray. Like you never know where that shit's gonna go. Like so
tase yourself.
I've never really been in any dangerous situation. I've obviously I've put myself in pretty sketchy situations and the Lord has blessed me, but I'm usually with friends. I'm rarely by myself. When I used to party a lot and go out, bars, stuff like that, my best friend is a guy. So I've been in situations where my brothers or my guy friends or my cousins are we're swinging because of me, guys being very extra. So I've been in those situations, but I've usually been with people that can protect me. But it's rare that I would ever feel unsafe on my own because I am very independent. So
there are those split seconds where I feel where I'm left alone and I think, something could happen. But yeah, there's usually somebody that's bigger and tougher than me, right by me. I've definitely put myself in sketchy situations, and I think more than anything, my anxiety spirals before I do. And again, I'm not trying to put myself in super vulnerable situations, Sometimes it happens, my boyfriend has to run.
I think downtown. I also think that just because of I don't know, as a therapist, I work on safety with my clients because I think that we also get fed a lot from TV and news about this girl got kidnapped, that girl. I've thought about the logistics, you're going to try to pick me up. I'm going to spasm. Things aren't going to go that. I've been robbed, but I didn't even notice I was robbed.
What do you mean?
So I always roll around with my purse open in the back of my chair. That was a crazy part too, because I've been in sketchy situations and it happened in a really nice place in Orange County, a fucking visuals. And I didn't notice because I'm, distracted all the time. But they literally took all my credit cards out of my wallet, but they left like my insurance cards, like all my other stuff, but every card, every bank card, credit card, everything.
Oh no.
So I guess that's the sketchiest thing that has ever happened to me.
Sometimes I tell people to be more safer in nicer areas. Honestly, I feel more safe in sketchy areas. But yeah, that just kind of asking for it with your purse open a little bit. I mean, I guess it's just like a moral thing. You would think like somebody wouldn't do that, but again, there's just those types of people out there. I think also I'm very cautious of putting things away. Like I'm not just trying to like chill on my phone or like be openly like out with any of my stuff. So that's like another thing that I think. Ben said get a dog. I hope there's not comments that are people that are in the chat that I'm not seeing. Just to let you guys know, again, I can't see all the comments for some odd reason, only some of them. So I appreciate you guys talking to each other in the chat if I'm missing anybody. I do see Ben said get a dog. Leon said a dog is great protection. I have my little Chihuahua, and maybe people do think twice, but I feel like it honestly is a conversation starter, and I almost get like a little bit more nervous when I'm with them because it draws a lot of attention to me. Again, we could, like Jessica said, we could use that attention for good or bad. I kind of weigh my odds. And that's something that I've kind of like checked myself on as well. Is like, is this a situation where I can speak up and I'm seen more, Is it going to give me a bigger opportunity or not? But yeah, with my dog, I don't know. People want to talk to him. People want to touch him. People want to talk to me more. And it makes me nervous. And everybody wants to stare at me when I have my dog on my lap, and I'm like, you never see the dog on a wheelchair.
Because he's cute.
Yeah.
Now you're cute and the dog's cute.
There you go.
Double whammy. They're like, what is that?
Yep, double whammy.
I already have a service dog named Gracie. Shout out to Gracie who's turning 7.
That's a pretty name.
My head, LOL. I have dogs, then guns. You're double. But do you feel like if you were honestly getting robbed that you could pull out your gun in time to stop yourself from the robbery? That's where I feel like I'm missing the
for sure.
Ben, okay. My little cousin was raped, murdered, and her body was thrown. Oh my gosh, shit happens. Shit does happen. I mean, I'm not saying that the world isn't safe, but that's why we're like talking about like also being aware of your surroundings. It definitely does happen, but I think sometimes they're more vulnerable because of the logistics of it. They're thinking like, how quickly can I get this done? And I think that's what Jessica was like mentioning as well. Like the logistics of them having to pick me up, throw me inside the car, like I'm not, I don't know. I'm not going to go into details, but I just feel like it's a little bit difficult. But yeah, shit does happen. Something was in my head.
That's crazy.
Crazy work.
Crazy business.
Break some ankles with my power chair. Tell me why.
I would try.
Valentine's Day, and we wanted to go to the store, right? My boyfriend was busy, and I was with Tom. Tom is in a power chair. He's also does on the channel. And he was like, I'm just going to roll down the street. Like, what are they going to take? I don't have nothing for them to steal from me. And I was like, it just cuts the Tom out of his wheelchair. They just take his whole wheelchair. It's on like a big, expensive piece of equipment right there.
We don't want, they tell him we don't want you, we want your chair.
Yeah. Because he was like, what can they take from me? I was like, you're a full of freaking metal that they could steal. They'd be leaving cars all like stripped. It's just your wheelchair all stripped right there. I doubt it, but it was just a funny image. It's one of those things you just gotta be aware of your surroundings.
But I'm happy.
The
Oh my goodness, that's so sad. Bowling for people, lol. Well, yeah. Yeah, you can definitely use your wheelchair as a weapon as well. I think it's just a strategy thing. It sucks that it's stuff that we have to think about, but I think it's better to be a conversation than not be a conversation, because even somewhere back in your brain, I'm not saying live by fear by any means, but at the same time, I think we just live in a society, and it's not just wheelchair users, it's not just females, it's males as well. It's everybody needs to be aware of their surroundings. You never know when somebody evil is lurking in the corners, and I think that's just important. But I think that's where my staring problem also comes in hand, because I'm like, oh, who's out to get me? Are you out to get me? Are you out to get me? And then I'm like, girl, chill. Let me just take a deep breath, because I have way too much anxiety.
I'm gonna have to get going, ladies. I have clients, but
okay, we love you so much.
We love you, Jessica.
Love you, Jessica.
Love you, ladies. Bye. I'll see you next month.
Bye.
Jill. See you next month. Not next year, bro.
Okay, so you're gonna end it with talking about taking up space. So what does taking up space look like for you, Ashley?
Oh shit. What does it look like? Honestly, I don't know, because I'm not really a part of any community in real life. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend. I'm really not. So I don't know how that. I mean, for me, I guess the best example. Sorry, you're gonna be annoyed with me. I'm sorry. When I go to the farmers market, like it'd be crowded there some weeks, and
That's your place.
yeah, that's just my place. So I act myself. I go up to all the vendors I want to go up to, smile at people, let people know. Like usually I have a bag, my little farmers market bag on the back of my chair. I let the vendors know, hey, can you put what I just bought in my bag on the back, please? Like really just kind of like telling people what I need, especially if I'm by myself. Like even when I go to the bookstore by myself, can you put the book in the bag, please?
Knowing what you need is so important. That's something we didn't, but that's a big part of advocating for yourself, is the confidence of what you need and directing people, and they'll feel more confident in it as well. That's a great way to take a space. And you also like mentioned it where you just kind of like go and you're not like paying attention to anybody. I think that's also taking up space, because you're doing what you want to do, you know? You're not caring about other people. You needed to back up in the store, you know, and you were just like, this is what I need to do right now. I'm taking up my space. You're in my space, you know?
Yeah, she really was. Like, I swear she was touching a wheel. Girl needed to back up. But anyway,
yeah,
I was a little. Today I needed some grace, not gonna lie. I was getting a little mad.
It's okay. It all happens to the best of us, you know, and that's how we grow and learn. And I think even like realizing that sometimes we need grace as well helps us in situations where we need to offer grace, you know? And so it's just like knowing that we're all human. What about you, Nikki? How do you take space?
Yeah.
How do I take up space? I think just like honestly, like girl.
Oh, sorry.
Like owning. She's bothering me today. Like owning. I feel like the space. I love you. Owning the space that we're in. Like I don't know. I guess like for me and Ashley, like say if we go out to eat, I'll start moving the chairs. Like I don't like if they're not gonna do it. I'll start. I'll help you see what we need. Kind of like to like. Learning to something that big for me that I needed to learn was, you know how like sometimes people don't know how to say excuse you to like people in wheelchairs for some reason. They just like look at you until you move. One thing was for me is like you're gonna treat me like I'm human, so you can say excuse me. So I'll stay there. I'll stay in that spot even though I know they want to get through, and I'll stay in that spot and I'll wait. And like there's been times for me and Ashley again, she's like they're trying to get by and they can say excuse me. Like I get that like bothers me, and for me that's like a sense of like taking up space because I'm human. Like you just kind of said, like we're human, we're there. Treat me like such. Like you wouldn't treat someone else like that. If there was like, I use this example sometimes because I do know like our wheelchairs are big, but like if there was like an overweight person, you would say excuse me to them, right? You wouldn't just like stand there and wait for them to move. So why are you treating me any different? Just because I'm in a chair that is a little bulky, that it may be taking up more of the space than the average person, but you could say excuse me,
like you're still human.
Yeah, I'm still human. And just spaces like that, and just kind of like when I'm there, just like knowing that I'm allowed to be there too.
And like Jessica was saying, like take up the perks. Like we don't move when we're on the sidewalk together. I'd had my whole 24 years of doing that. Now people can get out of my way.
Yeah,
because I'm not going in the grass for you to get through. You could go in the grass. You're able-bodied.
Yes, I love it.
You know,
that's those beautiful ways of just getting kind of tunnel vision and deciding like what you want to do. That's kind of how I block it out as well. I'm just like, this is where I want to see, this is where I want to go, this is who I want to talk to, and I'm kind of in my own land. I'm just really doing my own thing. And, even like my family and friends have noticed it and complimented me on it before. It's taken a lot of practice. Let me just throw that in there.
It does.
wasn't always like that. But I think the more practice I did, the more I try to make sure and talk myself and let myself know that I matter, what my space matters, what I want to do matters. I also say this thing, which I don't know how nice it is, but I always say, I am not the one in the way. They are in the way. I am never in the way. And I think that just helps me own my space as well. My mom just had to have back surgery, and she has to go around, like when she's in the stores in the wheelchair and stuff like that. And she was just like, it's so overwhelming. Like, people don't move. And then she's like, I have to back up, and it makes that loud beeping noise. And it just brought me back to that beginning stages of just like not knowing and kind of like realizing people aren't really looking down to see where you're at. They have their own tunnel vision, and they're doing what they want to do, right? So sometimes even an excuse me or a move, when I'm in like Universal Studios, for example, a big crowd's in front of me. I need to get through this big crowd. I'm just going to say, excuse me, because they're not seeing where I am at, you know? And that's me owning my space as well. I'm not being rude about it. I'm not saying like move the F out of my way. Sometimes I want to scream it, but I don't. And I think that that's very important as well. I think that, yeah, it takes a little bit of time. I lost my train of thought. I don't remember what else I was going to say about it.
It's okay.
But yeah, I think that's ways to do it. I think mentally talking yourself into it, and something that's very upsetting. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I was in Vegas, and everybody's drunk over there, and that's one thing that bothers me is when they're like genuinely like feel like I'm about to attack them. Like they turn around and they see a damn ghost, you know, they're just like, oh shit, they get all discombobulated and stuff. And I'm like,
I love it.
calm down. Do you want to share some weed? Are you okay? Can we take a deep breath? We're all going to get through this together. But yeah, those are all great ways to take up space. Let me make sure I'm all up on this.
I'm like such a laugher that when people start panicking like that, I start laughing.
I do
like
too.
I'm like, are you good? Like, are you okay?
Depending on how high I am too, I genuinely laugh. But I think it also like breaks the mood. Sometimes I get offended. Sometimes I'm a little frustrated. But that's usually when I've been out for a while, and I'm like kind of overstimulated by the crowd
on your third
already.
Strike.
And I'm like, okay.
That's when I start moving through myself.
Yeah.
I'll just go, and then Ashley be like, "You're going?" Like, yeah, come on, let's go.
I remember when I first got injured, my mom said, how are we ever going to get through this? And my brothers got so offended, Brandon and Cage, and they're like, we're just going to push her. And they took on the excuse me, and they're like, excuse me, and they just pushed me through the whole crowd. My mom just followed behind. She was very like just scattered brain about it. And that really helped me too, to just be like, the power of my voice. Like, my voice does matter. I can project my voice. And most of the time, they're not going to be like, no, wait your damn turn. That's not the response you're going to get. Sometimes we can mentally like tell ourselves that, like, oh, like just stay in our lane. You know, we don't want to offend anybody, anything like that. But you're not offending, or you're not trying to be offensive by taking up your space. Your space matters, and that's your wheelchair as well, no matter how big or small it is. You know, and what you want to do matters. Just like they're not focused on you because they are doing what they want to do, you kind of have to have that same mindset. Because if you aren't going to do it, who's going to do it for you? You know, who's going to put you first? You got to put you first. Okay, let me see. What is? I do train with firearms though, so it's not a foreign thing. Wait, I'm missing something. I feel like.
Somebody was saying how.
My dogs will bark and attack, which gives me plenty of time to react. Oh, interesting. My dog really picks and chooses when he wants to attack. Sometimes he's like an angry little chihuahua, and sometimes he's like, oh, pet me, I'm so cute. And I'm like, oh, boy, you know. But, and my dog is so little too. I guess I didn't have okay, let me just rewind. I'm not going to tell that story. Okay. So this was a great show. I feel like we got a lot of great comments. I'm so happy that you guys joined us and you guys support us. Make sure to like that, hit that like button, and join us for more weekly shows. We have a bunch of amazing shows. We have our sponsors, mobility professionals and urology professionals, who help us so much in our great companies in our community. If you want to know more about them, feel free to send us a message. I also want to tell you guys about the weekly shows. So on Monday, we have a gaming show. with how on Tuesday we have a 3:30 show. Every single Tuesday the guys are on. They talk about different topics and it's very like an open discussion as well. You can go there and ask any questions and they'll surely have an answer for you. They have all kinds of different disabilities and years disabled. We also have the cooking show with Tom. Make sure to go check it. Shows a bunch of adaptable tricks, and we always have a great time in this chat as well, making different things. I learn even tips from him, so whether you're a quad or a para, make sure to stop by on Wednesdays. On Thursdays, we have lots going on. We have Rolling Over the Hill with the guys every second and fourth Thursday. We have Rolling with the Golden Oldies every first Thursday. And we have the Will Girl Talk every third Thursday. So make sure to come and check us out. We always update you with new topics. If you are wanting to hear about a topic, make sure to send us a message and we will touch on it. And yeah, I think that's all. Thank you guys for joining. Live to roll. Bye.
Period.